Hello, 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 hello. Good evening. Welcome to the Cope and Seethe Podcast. I'm your host, mckay, and well, there's no one in the house, so we'll wait for people to come in, shall we? Do we get reviews of the 2 eps of TD? ep.5 got broadcast yesterday. I saw someone did a review of it, but Eric Kane, I think his name is. He writes for Forbes, and I've been enjoying his write-ups of it. You can find it if you just put True Detective Night Country shit or terrible, absolute waste of fucking time, woke dog shit, that kind of thing. And it's usually the first one on the Google search. And he also has a YouTube channel where he kind of, it's just like this kind of thing where he just discusses it for like 10, 15 minutes or so. And he's pretty far from impressed. As am I. But we'll get to that. I'm only going to do episode 4, and I can only suffer through one episode a week, I think, of that particular show. It's something else. It really is. Like, never mind like the beginning of it seeming a bit woke or whatever. Like that we're way past that kind of issue at this point of the show. It's a masterpiece for all the wrong fucking reasons. But we'll get to that. Spin the wheel. Yeah, I'm wondering if Hawkey Boy's in the house, because I believe last week he was supposed to choose something for the wheel, and his little pea brain couldn't understand what I meant by that, because he seemed to think that I was saying, should it be one of my books or something? No, dude. It's a prize that you think is worth putting on there. Can be virtually anything you want within reason, as long as it's not monetarily disadvantageous rather to me, and as long as it's not too fucking ridiculous. I will tell you if it's retarded and not add it, so I'll give you 3 goes, and if you fuck up that much, we're just, I don't know, we're better luck next time, I suppose. But I don't know whether he's in the house. I'd be stunned if he isn't. But today I've got a review of True Detective Night Country episode 4 and 2 Incel My Rides again. I even got the thumbnails this week. So we got this dude, Real Talk with Ethan, I believe is the name of his channel. Bit of a boomer cell, potentially. And I added these thumbnails mainly because this one is so edgelord. I had to add it in. Not only is it dreadful in terms of graphic design, it's just beautiful in every way. The pose, the haircut, the @ sign of rapist. And I'm not going to tell you who this is, because you'll find out once we get to it. And that's pretty much it, actually. I haven't really been watching films that much. I did watch Fargo season 2, but I think because I watched the 5th season followed by the 1st and then got to the 2nd, which I still enjoyed, I just felt a bit fucking burnt out by the end of it. Fargoed out, essentially. And I think that sometimes happens when you're watching a series that has a similar tone throughout. I still thought it was pretty good, but would struggle to really review it, mainly based on the fact that I kind of blanked a few of the episodes just because I was tired or whatever. So I don't think Hawk's here. Shall we say that he's forfeited his go? That's what I'm wondering. Because the wheel's begging begging for something new. And I know just by showing this. So basically, he has a choice of adding something to this. I'll give him 10 minutes, let's say. Well, I'll give him till 20 past. If he's not around, then he can go suck a dick, basically. Which is probably what he's actually doing right now. At this point in his life, I would guess that he's probably given up on women. Although, a little birdie tells me, or a little chickie tells me, or chico, that apparently there's more women in Russia than there are men. So that makes it even worse. I mean, look, I actually will Google this. Not that I don't believe my source, but, you know, it's just unusual. Are there more women in Russia than men? Oh, apparently it's an historical thing. It's interesting. Yeah, there's 86 males to 100 females in Russia. Oh man, I'd be cleaning up over there. You know, that must mean that they will be willing to, you know, do some pretty frisky shit, shall we say, just in the small chance of snagging one for life or getting a commitment. If it's well, exactly. And I mean, 86 to 100 isn't that many more. What, 14? But I mean, it's still fairly significant. So basically, what does it make it? Obviously, it's not like 2 for 1, but so it's probably something like 1.3 or 4, something like that. I'm not particularly great at math. See, look, here we go. Zarathustra can confirm. Why the fuck are you in Germany then? It's also 100 times easier to get laid. Well, I don't want to speculate on that, but I believe you. Well, as compared to Germany, is that what you're saying? I'm not sure why you'd want to get laid in Germany, personally speaking, but yeah. It's quiet tonight, quiet. Not sure we should, to be honest. Is this like the Russian equivalent of those weird Japanese shows where they stick things in women's orifices? Or I saw one where you had 2 hard bodies at the end of like a pedestal, and there was this tube along, and they had a cockroach inside the tube, and the whole game was just to see which one of them could blow the hardest to make it go in the other chick's mouth. I don't think I've ever come that hard in my life, but it was interesting. You got to wonder as well whether those game shows are even real. Like, I mean, they kind of look it, but I mean, I'm not, like, everything in Asia kind of looks a bit fake, you know, probably because it's cheap and actually made there, but an average Ivanovich won't shave his armpits because that would make him gay. That's what they believe anyways, and women all around the world prefer men who take care of themselves. That doesn't testify very strongly to your notion that it's 100 times easier to get laid. Well, so long as I don't know, what, you keep the armpits trimmed instead? Is that good enough? I don't fucking know. I'd imagine it would probably be better to keep the hair due to the weather. At least you get a little bit more warmth. Is that the point of armpit hair? I don't even know. I think possibly it used to be. Evolutionarily speaking, of course. It's good enough. It's good enough. I mean, you still have these moments of like, oh, I could do with a smoke, even though you're fucking sucking on this thing a lot. It's good. I mean, the only thing is this thing, the coil, runs out pretty quick, or at least it does for someone sucking on it like a baby's bottle 24/7, and so you need to replace it, otherwise it starts tasting like shit, basically. But good to know. I'm keeping this all in the mental notebook. Off my head, write another book. Good evening, Osif. I'm in the middle of that. I'm just I'm out of motivation for releasing anything these days. Because what's the point? What is the fucking point? Also, I'm not even sure. Like, I'm actually genuinely at the point where I don't think people read anymore, especially like the type of shit that I'm writing. It's if I was already established, I'd probably get away with it more, but I just feel like it's going to be even harder. Have you seen the shit that gets fucking put out there these days? It's absolute garbage. I still see people reviewing My Dark Vanessa and stuff like that, and it's like, for one thing, let it go, it sucked. But, you know, if that's the standard, I'm shit out of luck. Like, it's not... Maybe if I came out as gay and then claimed that I was like the next Chuck Palahniuk, maybe then. Or if I went trans and then I could just, claim that I'm progressive and whatnot, and everything I put in my stuff is... I'll just get away with it because, you know, no one will want to criticise what I'm saying. And I'll probably get a load of praise, just like that True Detective woke country. Even though it's quite literally... I'll get onto it in a minute because I'm still waiting for Hawk. But it is literally, I think, the worst show of the lot. And I will expand upon this once we get to it. But it's worse than season 2. Fucking, but without a doubt. Like, and I would actually say it's quite a bit below season 2, which is mind-boggling to even think of. If you've seen season 2 of True Detective, that is. Well, exactly, yeah. That's kind of you're on my wavelength because trauma porn. I mean, in a lot of ways, my stuff is trauma porn, but it's because it's from a white male perspective. They can't. Yeah, Hawk. I don't know if you've just come in. I'll reiterate. Last week you won the opportunity to choose a prize for the wheel, but I don't know, I think I was too drunk or tired, or I don't know, we got lost in translation, and I think you thought I meant, would it be a prize of like a book or something? It's not that. It's whatever you want it to be, basically, within reason. So yeah, from the answers you've seen thus far, or the prizes rather, then dictate it from that. You've got 4 minutes, because I don't care that you turned up. I need to get this out of the way so I can carry on with the show. So I'll give you 3 goes, and if they're all shit, I'm going to say that's it, you know, and we'll move on. Bit of a digression. How do you maintain your physique? Well, I work out every day, but with the exception of maybe one day sometimes, usually a Sunday, if you want to know my routine. And I've been doing that, I suppose, for quite a while now. I've had a few breaks here and there where I just like didn't do it for, say, a couple of months, but overall I've probably been doing it consistently for about 7 or 8 months. So yeah, So a lot of it concentrates on abs or upper body strength, and then I do the bike over there. And the bike has this pulley thing where you can like exercise your arms. But today one of them started coming loose, which fucking sucks, because that was like part of the fun of using it, to be honest. And I don't think there's much I can do about it. Well, that's a shit suggestion, and I think you even mentioned this one last week. So try again, because that's affecting the quality and integrity of the stream. It's all part of the stream as well, so I don't know why you'd want that. Drinker's physique? Are you fucking kidding me? What are you talking about? This is like ripped. Well, not quite ripped, but getting there. But I don't know. I feel like I've got to a certain level, and the only way I'm going to get shredded, as they say, is if I start juicing, and I ain't going to do that. No, I didn't ignore it. I'm rejecting it now, because I can't believe you brought it up again. It does. I have recently actually stopped drinking beer. And yeah, I mainly because I think I heard, and this is probably bullshit, but you know, the whole phrase beer belly is kind of true, or at least when I remember my dad, I think of his gut and of the people he knew or the other blokes. And yeah, that is a thing. I mean, it raises your estrogen anyway. I mean, I think all alcohol does that, but since estrogen is fucking everywhere, I'm trying to minimize how much I'm exposed to, because it's pretty grim. And in fact, actually, I think I might have mentioned this. If you cook things in the microwave in plastic, like Tupperware, it increases the amount of dirty estrogen, that filthy female hormone, by about 4,000%. So you don't want to do that. Basically, that's like and this is from a doctor or a training doctor. He was just like, that's the one thing you can cut out, because it's in everything. You know, that parfum stuff that's in shampoo, it's in the plastics that conceal your food and whatnot. So it's virtually impossible to fucking avoid it, unless you do some really vigorous kind of research and are able to buy the alternative products. Because even if you get, say, a body or shower gel that doesn't have that crap in it, it's likely going to be bottled in plastic anyway, so it's already there. That's a good point. Extra spin. Fuck, your imagination, Hawk, is off the charts. All right. I mean, I'm willing to take that. Have another go. And if your next suggestion sucks, then extra spin it is. But that doesn't mean you get an extra spin, you cheeky bastards. We need to see this increasing over here. I need to be able to move this to emphasize my point. Yeah, we need to see this going up. Do you think I can go on holiday with this amount of money? I mean, come on. Obviously, you still need a little bit of it. Well, I'd say the same to you, Salim. It looks like you work out a fair amount, assuming that is you, and not some, I don't know, some dude you'd like to clap or whatever. Taking boxing classes. Is that a euphemism? I actually have at one point, but nah, not really for me. I'd rather, if I was going to do anything like that, it would probably be jiu-jitsu or some form of karate, maybe taekwondo or whatever. I'd rather, work on the full body and then the discipline of it and things like that. It's always something I've wanted to do. I don't know. You get to a certain point and you think, I'm not fucking Daniel LaRusso, so it's not going to be the fantasy that I grew up with where I'd have some mentor who would actually guide me and teach me about things like honor and discipline and, being a good man. I'm way beyond that point at this stage. But yeah, boxing is of interest more so than like UFC or whatever. I think that shit's mental. But when did I start it? I don't know. Everyone's asking me questions. Where's the donation button? In the description, the PayPal. It's either the PayPal or a super chat. I would prefer PayPal, as I've stated many a time, and will continue to do so. So yeah, I mean, if it goes in there, then I'm going to know from my emails. Hey, if you were to pick a holiday, surely that would be, up the top. Who actually wants a holiday where they sit around a pool doing fuck all the whole week? If you're going to have the option of fucking, I would imagine most people would have it in there. Unless, I don't know, you're a very busy porn star and the last thing you want to do is fuck. Yeah, I have found that to be tricky. The best thing if you want to drink, speaking as a professional alcoholic, is vodka, I hear, because it is less harsh on the liver. Assuming you're not, drinking it with fucking Coca-Cola or whatever. But yeah, you'll get less of a fatty liver from it. I'm not sure if that would actually stop you bloating. Maybe. But yeah, the gut thing is difficult. I think some days it seems fine, and then others I don't know. You're just a bit bloated. What can you do? Eat a lot of fish would be my advice. Trade fish for most meat. But this is only something I've been doing. Yeah, it's less harsh on the liver comparatively to other alcoholic drinks. Look it up. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've heard this. I think Doug Stanhope said that was one of the reasons he drank vodka, because trying to be health conscious as a man who's bloated his organs to the point of having hernias, it's probably a concern. But GC will watch any vid you send right now on the stream. What do we think, people? What do we think? Well, I mean, it can't be any vid. Because I imagine a lot of you are going to send some fucking snuff or something. I can't watch that kind of stuff. So it could be a YouTube video, which you could still probably find some pretty out there material, and it would be easier to find. Or if it's just another spin, then that can be very quick, can't it? So another spin or video, just that'll do for the answers. Yeah, I mean, maybe just neat. I don't know. I don't drink it too often myself. I'd rather drink wine, and wine is the most calorific. But Yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, I guess you could drink it with some fruit juices to pretend you're being healthy, but it might be a bit much for your glucose levels. I don't know, but safe for work, less than 15 min vid. All right. As torturous as that would be, anything that's on at the Apollo or is a stand-up show will get flagged immediately. So I wouldn't even last 3 minutes. I'm at the 0% mark at the minute. I've got them lined up, but I was working on a review that is on Patreon right now for anyone interested, of Con Air classic. Yeah, and I'm waiting for the approval on that. I don't really know if I'm going to get it. It's been a few days, so I'm expecting it to be. I might be able to contest it. Which I mean, that film came out in '97. It's what, a 27-year-old fucking movie now. So it's pretty frustrating that I can't feature. Apparently, I think it's owned by Disney as well. So I really have no idea whether I'm going to get the go ahead with that. It's a shame as well because I think it's actually comedy wise. I think it's one of the best ones I've done. But whatever. It doesn't half get frustrating doing these. I'm actually thinking about doing some different types of talky head videos, mainly because I'm watching these, like, you know, these guys in their cars waffling on about life, and it's kind of making me think maybe I should actually throw my hat into the ring in the same vein. I don't have a car though, so I'd have to do it, you know, all on my little lonely in the room. But yeah, the general idea would be the same. But I try to make it more, well, or less whiny or woe is me kind of stuff. I'd rather just talk about shit that might potentially help, I suppose. I don't know. I tell you what though, that there's something about that film that I just think is fucking great because it is so stupid. It's got a good script. I would actually give it that. I think its use of language at times, yeah, it's corny and stupid and a bit cheesy, but there are actually some really good lines of dialogue. And the beginning of it is trash, like utter trash, but when it gets going, it's super fun. How fat we talking, Painbow? Did she suck your nipples in appreciation? I'm not planning on it, if I'm honest, but could be fun. Could be fun. Wait, where are we with Hawk anyway? I mean, we're lacking on the donations. No one wants the wheel. That's a good point. It's a good point. I'll say for the sake of convenience, it should probably just be another spin. Because no one's voting out. No one's voting. It's a good point. I only got the trailer. To be honest, I don't really want to see Welbeck. Unless it's like from a certain angle. Because I mean, the guy, I love the guy. But he's not exactly someone you want to watch fucking, is he? I mean, it's almost like troll porn at that stage. If you're going to watch him rotting. But from the trailer, I mean, the prosy was, well, pretty above his. I mean, she wouldn't have done it for free. Let's say that much. And apparently he was going at her for ages. According to her word, she was impressed. The guys want the not a whale, a very curvaceous woman though. Well, let's well be the judge of that. A very curvaceous woman, not a whale. So a body positive type. Would she be modelling for Calvin Klein these days? Would she be in with a shout, holding a burger, whilst rolls of flab actually hide the lingerie she's supposedly advertising? That kind of thing. Is that the realm we're in? Well, I'll put the thing in, but I mean, if there's no spin the wheels tonight, then all bets are off. That's not going. The video thing's not coming in. You know, I'm supposed to be going on holiday in a month, so cue the violin strings. You know, where is there any more? Let's see what else is in here. Party noise. And I've got a lot of shit fucking crap on here. But yeah, it's a month to go. I know Paintbow's gone quiet. I mean, don't be ashamed, mate. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all been there. It's all good. And at least you got to watch Con Air afterwards. Hawk, why don't you donate and then you can have another spin and have your own suggestion added? I mean, that's a bargain there and there. 2 for 1 almost. You don't think those fucking movie reviews are just, falling out of the sky, do you? And the streams, I'm here. I've even got shoes on to be in work mode for you lot. This is the fucking thanks I get. Add it to the wheel. I'll add it to the wheel when I need to go to the wheel. At the moment, that's not happening. It's like I've got tobacco in my mouth, and it's actually just dried wine-stained saliva. Lovely. Right, I think I'm going to have to move on because my e-begging is clearly off its game for tonight, which is a damn shame. I've even insulted Painbow, telling him he's a chubby chaser. So, yeah, it's the Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, it's a good point. It's the evidence that's going to be incriminating against me. The e-cig brand. Yeah, I mean... Where can I find one of those? What? This is an Aspire. That's what it's called. Aspire. Fucking what a name, eh? I get it from Vape something or other. Go figure. Vapekit.co.uk, maybe. I mean, if you're in the UK, which I don't think you are, they're fuck it. I'll just link you it if you want. But I mean, this is what it looks like. It's a decent little thing. I mean, the battery on it's a bit shit, but that might be because I'm sucking on it like a John in a brothel, Wait, that sounded weird. But yeah, it's cheap. And yeah, their delivery times over here are really good. But I don't know about elsewhere, if I'm honest. To be honest, not a lot, funnily enough. Not a lot. I looked at that. I think even India had taken over from the UK recently, which I was amazed by. I don't, and it doesn't even show me like Russia. Like that's if I get like views from Russia, it means fucking nothing now. Like no money, no ad revenue, nonsense. I mean, it gets really tiring tolerating a world that is so fucking hypocritical, but whatever. So no spinny wheel. The wheel has been left dry. I can't sell fucking shit all. All right, well, I guess it's movie talk. Give me a minute. I mean, the things are good, but I don't think you can quite get that. I think the reason you keep going to it is you don't quite get that satisfactory pull, you know. It's good, but it doesn't quite hit in the same fashion. It's all right. Sometimes you get it, but it's not like you can guarantee it by taking an extra long pull or anything. It doesn't seem to make a difference. Asking for a tenner is where the wheel didn't die last week. All right, for the next until 9 o'clock, half price, £5 for a spin. How's that? Deal of the century here. You got 20 minutes. And I'll start reviewing True Dick. Yeah, there's no one on tonight. Nothing happening. Right. Where to begin? I think I was wrong about this series. I will apologise for my remarks, because this is arguably the best comedy ever fucking made. Like, I can't quite believe that this series... I mean, the biggest mystery of this is whether or not anyone will ever get through the 6 episodes that it features. That's about it. I can't... And the other mystery is how the hell it ever got approved. Who gave it the go-ahead? Like, it's even given me some sort of conspiracy theory that the producers of HBO approved it because they're all a bunch of dudes. And they read it and they couldn't stop laughing so hard from the absolute dog shit excuse of a script that was presented that they just thought, you know what? Let's just let them do it. We'll give them a bit of funding. We'll pay off the critics to make out as if it's good just because it's like got some woke shit in it. And that's that. Never mind the storytelling, never mind the dialogue, never mind the acting, never mind the complete lack of a plot. Never mind the fact that it doesn't even really focus on crime drama whatsoever. It's not a detective story. It's a fucking melodrama. It's no surprise it was directed by a South American lady, because it is literally a soap opera. It is the worst show I think I've ever seen, actually. Like, never mind season 2 of True Detective. This show is so fucking bad. Like, I don't even know where to begin. And this one was the icing on the cake, pretty much. I mean, the third one, at least it had a little bit of promise. It looked like it was actually going to develop into a fucking plot where they actually do some detective work. But they folded on that whole idea with this episode and concentrated on more backstories of the main characters who you couldn't really give a fuck about anyway. Because one, Danvers, played by Jodie Foster, is a 3-time homewrecker of Ennis, the place it's situated in. She's fucked every guy in town. Literally. I mean, her kink seems to be married guys. Like, if the guy's married, she just can't help but fuck them. And apparently that's like just a quirky character trait. It's got nothing to do with her mental derangement of the fact that she's so toxic that she needs to just sleep with unavailable men. Nah, it's an empowering you go girl just element of the fucking story. And no one seems to give a shit. Every guy in it is either a simp or he's a neutered eunuch who just wanders around doing absolutely nothing except kind of whinge a little bit and be as submissive as possible. So there's one guy Navarro, who is the diversity detective essentially, and she's like he's like her fuck boy, but really he is her bitch basically. That's all he really is. He's got lovely hair that he's styled very nicely, and whenever she's in trouble, whenever she's had a bit of a beating, because through her own fucking fault, by the way, he'll be there, he'll tend to her, he'll tell her she's not alone, literally a fucking line from the script, and he's just there to be. I mean, she might as well. There's one scene at the beginning of the series where it shows needlessly them having sex, and she's riding him as if she's got a fucking 11-inch fucking 20-inch 11-inch girth cock, just like fucking giving it to him. I don't really know why she isn't pegging him, to be honest. I mean, if you watch that back, you kind of wonder, like, you might as well just have him getting properly fucking destroyed by some ridiculous over the top dildo that she's wearing, just fucking slapping it around like whatever kind of thing. And he's basically her simp, because the only thing he ever asks of her is to tell him more about her fucking life before she came to fucking Ennis. And it's like, I don't really know why, because she's a cunt. Much like fucking Jodie Foster's character. Cunt. They're not redeemable in any aspect whatsoever. That's why I think it must be a comedy. I mean, I can't really explain it any other way. And the only thing that lets it down on the comedic front is just how fucking boring the show is. It's so slow and it goes nowhere. And there's no detective work in it, basically. That's the funniest thing about it. It's like there's no... Like, that's like the backstory. That's the thing that doesn't really matter. You know, it's like, this is... It's in the title. True fucking detective. Like, they're not doing any detective work. And when they do need to do it, it's so convenient because there's only one dude who pops up on their fucking database who is linked to their bullshit theory, which one of them is like... They add in another character with this episode, needlessly. Something Otis, I believe. And he's linked to it for whatever reason. And they think, oh, maybe he suffered certain injuries because of the cold. Because of the fucking drastic weather we have over here. And they look it up. Bing! One dude in fucking Alaska, in a place where these types of injuries you'd think would be commonplace, but no, because the script is so fucking lazy, it just makes it as convenient as possible. But not only does it do that, it locates it down through another simp, the scientific simp, who just basically tells her like, oh, this comes from this blah 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 blah. Oh, would you know it? There's an ice cave here, the only one around in the whole area. Maybe you could go in there and find out what's going on. It's comedic gold, but all for the totally wrong reasons. Like, I can't believe how bad it really is. Like, I'm stunned. Honestly stunned. I'm bored when I'm watching it, getting a bit of a laugh from how dreadful the fucking plot development is. You got this one scene in there where the women gather around and they're kneading dough, and then you've got this music playing, and it's supposed to be like this like really nice moment between everyone, but the women, of course, all the guys are useless. Like, there's no point of the men in it apart from they're fucking useless, inept, just they cause more problems than they ever solve. They're stupid, of course. There's been one subplot with another guy that Danvers fucked back in the day, who is the dad of the rookie cop another, bumbling moron or whatever. That's slightly more forgivable because at least he's young, but whatever. And he's been basically waiting for this Russian male bride the whole time. Like, that's been like one of these soap opera fucking plots. And it actually has him waiting at the airport with flowers, and he's staring at the plane, and no one comes on. No one comes off the fucking plane. We've had it like for 3 episodes leading up to this moment. He's like set it up, and we see him go back to his place, and we see all the rose petals that he put on the bed, the fucking champagne on ice, and all this stuff. And you just think, why did they have this in the show? Like, this is so pointless. Unless, I mean, maybe there'll be some connection to it, but I really doubt it, because none of the fucking things that happen in this show have any connection to, one, the fucking actual detective story, but two, also to the characters involved. The main characters, like, they're just there for no fucking reason. It's so fucking bad. It's like a lesson in how not to write a script. It's that bad. Like, I'm still stunned. And then they have these philosophical moments that they try to emulate from the first season, where they're talking about religion and fucking atheism, basically. And like Jodie Foster's character's all like, "We're alone. There's no one else out there. You can't believe in all this stuff." And it's like, and it kind of makes out as if it's like saying something that has any integrity or any meaning or is like deep in any fucking way whatsoever. Whereas really it feels like some 15-year-old angsty activist penned it together in one evening, and that's what they fucking approved. Like, it's dog shit. It's absolute. I'll carry on because I'm on a bit of a roll. So during this this series so far, Navarro's character has a sister, Julia Navarro, and it shows that she's a bit mental, basically, suffering from schizophrenia, all this kind of stuff. And this comes to a point where she needs to put her into a mental institute of some sort to try and help her, And lo and behold, there's a voluntary mental institute in this very small town, which is a bit dubious, but whatever. And so she checks her into this place. All seems to be fine, and she fucks off to pretend to do some police work. But then one of the next scenes is Julia. She's out in the open again. She's just escaped. She's walked out. And the only excuse in the show is like, well, it's a voluntary psychiatric unit. You don't have to be here. What? So you can check into this kind of place through the approval of a family member. And you can just go, you know what? I took a shit and had a nap. This place ain't for me. Like, I can't be arsed with this. I'm just going to walk out. And apparently that's totally fine in this place. So she goes out into the middle of fucking nowhere, middle of the night, having a fucking episode of some sort. And then she's just like, okay, takes her clothes off for no reason, only so we can get a view of her fat ass as she walks along the plain toward the sea on the ice and kills herself. And this is, I mean, it's supposed to be like quite a fucking like, oh fucking hell, that's pretty grim, that's pretty fucked up. But you don't think that because it's so badly executed. Like it's so terrible that you're even laughing, because you kind of think the only reason they put this fat girl walking out onto the ice is to give some sort of like, oh look, this is a real woman. This is what real ladies look like. And that's the only reason. And then later on, her sister's in the car, off screen, gets a phone call. It's the Coast Guard. Oh, we found your sister dead. And we're supposed to believe that in this vast fucking ocean that's frozen over, they found her sister in the middle of the night on Christmas Eve. I'm loath to forget mentioning. And they recognise her and ring her directly to say, by the way, your sister fucking killed herself. And then she goes mental, goes back to the fucking unit, says all the things of like, how the fuck did she get out of here? And the guy's just like, it's a voluntary fucking unit, you don't have to be here. She tries to act and just throws shit around. It's so cringe. It's so cringe. They even have like the music come up when it's like she kind of comes to her senses, and then it's like this really like heartbreaking music. The violins come out, and then she's driving back wherever she's fucking going. And in the first episode, there was this like really obvious like domestic abuser guy, and he just happens to be there as she's driving. Like, we haven't seen him again since that first episode where he actually says like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this woman. She doesn't know what's coming to her. All this kind of stuff, which, as a domestic abuse fucking perpetrator, you're pretty want to do. That's something you just love. You just love telling people how you're going to beat up your woman later on. It's like, she fucks with me, I'm going to kick her ass. She won't know. She's fucking born once I'm through with her. And yeah, this dude's there. He fucking flips her the bird the whole way as she's driving across. She does something else, has a bit of a fit, and then in her rage, she goes back to where they're all, like in a really dodgy computer game where you need to return to the same area where the same dudes are just standing around doing the same thing, like NPCs just waiting to kind of progress the plot. And they're all there, and she just fucking starts fucking assaulting them. She's a police officer, and she gets out of her car, whacks the first guy, and it takes 3 of them because, of course, she's a strong, independent fucking ex-boxer woman. So it takes 3 of these bad dudes to fucking take her down and beat her up. And all of this stuff, it's so funny. It's so bad. I can't believe how awful this show is. Like, I'm still stunned. I feel like I'm in some sort of shock of like, what the fuck is this? This is one of the worst shows ever made. It's so cringe. What else is in it? Yeah, I think at some point, like usually what happens, you get all of this bullshit family melodrama that you couldn't give 2 shits about because the characters are cunts. And then about 5 minutes toward the end, you'll get a plot point. You'll get some sort of development. Ooh, what's going on here? Kind of thing. But before that, when I mentioned the rookie young cop, they just had to kind of shoehorn in this little bit. He's basically with this other native chick, and they're married. And there's this whole bit in the earlier episode where she's like, I can't believe I fell for a white boy. And then, she's constantly annoyed with him, a policeman who is investigating a crime, a homicide crime. That this doesn't happen, in this place. It's like a very rare thing. So obviously, he's going to have to work a few fucking nights because it's probably, historically speaking, one of the biggest things that's ever happened in this place. And yet she's like all pissy turning on the bed. I can't believe you're never home. It's been 4 nights. And she's giving him shit all the time. But then he turns into a bitch and just starts saying like, oh, just admit it. You never wanted to marry me. You never wanted to have our baby. Just for the sake of having it there. Just for the sake of it. It's like, oh, it's got to have the woman being in control of her fucking body trope. Just shoehorn it in there. Along with some climate change nonsense. It's so bad. And then, so they find the guy who they shoehorned in this episode, by the way. It wasn't something in previous ones. It's just this other guy so they could have a connection to the place they need to go. They find him through that bullshit reason of him being the only guy in fucking Alaska to get frostbite. And then they locate him, and then the rookie cop's like, wow, there's no trace of this guy anywhere. He's like a ghost. There's no security records, no ID, none of this stuff. And then it says, but look at his criminal record. Somehow they don't seem to differentiate between someone being a John Doe and having a criminal fucking record where he's been done for fucking GBH and extortion and assault or whatever. Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, it's so, there's so many plot holes in it. It's unfucking believable. Which it seems to think that he can overlook by just, you know, flipping on a bit of Billie fucking Eilish and just being like, oh, just ignore that. Just ignore it. And a lot of the time, the lyrics of one of the songs will match some bullshit that they said, like, 20 minutes before. Like, oh, I can't believe that's the case. And then it'd be like, oh no, it's Everybody Dies, We're Alone. And then some Billie Eilish song says something like, we're all alone, aren't we? it's so bad. Comedic gold. I mean, this is honestly, this could be reason to never let women touch a fucking a TV series ever again. Like, they need to go back to the drawing board. Like, they shouldn't be allowed to go anywhere near a pen, let alone a script or a fucking keyboard or whatever. It's just, this is so shit. Unreal. And then you got the bit at the end where they finally get to a point where there might be a fucking plot point actually related to the crime that they're apparently investigating, even though they're also useless. It's taken them fucking 4 episodes just to get through 3 points, because like the Navarra character was previously investigating one of the women that was involved in this very crime, so you think there's going to be a crossover. And then they find out that she was with this dude who's disappeared from the crime scene in the present series. But then you think, wait a minute. I mean, if she was fucking investigating this Annie, how the fuck did she not ever know that she was dating this dude? Like, it's so bad. It's like, she's got to be the shittest detective. It's like having Mr. Bean as a detective. How did she not know this? And it's just... there's so many gaps. There's so many issues everywhere in it. It's unreal. And yeah, they get to this mysterious place and they find the guy who just conveniently popped into the storyline at this point. And then he's like there and he's shit scared. He's like, you're in the night country now. We're all in the night country now. And it's a clear fucking rip-off of... you know, Carcosa, you're in Carcosa now, kind of thing. But it's got, without any of the fucking relevance, nuance, nothing. It's just a call to the stupid title of this stupid fucking show. And it does, and there's a jump scare, just a random jump scare. Oh, we're in a fucking, like literally we're watching like The Ring or something, where you just get a character pop up with fucking black eyes. And, so it references like, John Carpenter's The Thing, Stranger Things, a bit of Blair Witch Project, because there's this one piece of fucking evidence that they have, which is seemingly just done for iPhone advertisement for Apple, because they just constantly watch this fucking little bit with the woman, this Annie woman who went missing, where she's like there, and then some weird creature just appears, and then that's it, cuts. But they're constantly fucking watching it on the phone in the middle of the hospital where people are fucking suffering and in pain and all that. Just let's all just gather around and watch it in the middle of the corridor. Never mind the A&E patients who are just trying to be whisked in. This is a criminal investigation, everybody. Shut the fuck up. And they showed this video relentlessly. Like, this show is a masterpiece in wasting fucking time going over the same shit and then reiterating that shit with exploratory nonsense that we already know. We already know a lot of the... Like, even when they find the guy in the warehouse or wherever the fuck it is, and he starts saying this night country nonsense, it gives us a flashback. It flashes back when they first saw this dude, which was 20 minutes beforehand, just so we recognise, oh yeah, huh? That's that guy they were trying to find before. Oh, that's amazing. And now he's all fucked up. And there's some random, like, fucking ring-looking chick with the fucking wet hair just popping up for whatever reason. I can't wait, actually, to see the last 2 episodes, because there's no way in hell they're going to make any any even anything good out of this. It's the worst show ever made, honestly. And I've seen some shit in my time, but if you consider the budget that must have gone into this, the time and effort, how the hell no one in the production team just thought, wait a minute, this script is a piece of shit. we need to fix this because we're going to embarrass ourselves. And yeah, I think that all they did was think, oh, we'll just pay off some critics and just tell them that, yeah, just say it's great so people can pretend that it's, and then they can bitch about it online. And yeah, that's what I think. Honestly, the conspiracy theory is the HBO producers and whatnot, the executives and CEOs and all of that lot. It's just been done for a goof, and they've let it come out, and they were like, you know what? It's going to be cheaper for us to pay off some critics and just throw a bit of diversity and wokeness in there to get our ESG points up than it is to actually invest in a decent show. Let's let the stupid women make a crappy show. We'll all pretend it's great. But the most insulting thing in this fucking program, though, is that if that's what women idolize the, ultimate man to be, I don't know what's more insulting, the fact that this Issa Lopez has written these two women to be the most insufferable, irredeemable cunts I've ever seen on screen, in the concept of this is what men are, this is what the ultimate guy is, because they're terrible people. They're just awful in every regard. Never mind the fucking little traumas they went through in their younger years, because in all likelihood it was all their fucking fault. There's no redeeming qualities, so it's I don't really know which is more insulting, the fact that that woman in particular seems to think that this is the idea of the perfect man, or that they think that this is what women should aspire to. It's which one is which is the worst of the two? It's really difficult to know. But man, it's the worst show ever made. That's what I'm going to say. Chairman Meow has got a good point. Yeah, it's true. Ranting about night countries does me some good, because I've been waiting for this all week. It's, as a comedy, it's one of the best shows I've ever fucking seen. KD, what's going on? The chat is gash. I agree. Let's see. PayPal gets precedence. Nothing on the PayPal. Wow. KD, why don't you throw me a tenner on PayPal and we'll spin the wheel for you. There's going to be an added prize as well. But yeah, in conclusion, tune back in next week for episode 5. I've got my expectations are so low at this point. Maybe its mere existence will just add a little bit of positivity to it. The fact that if you were stranded on an island for, let's say, 10,000 years, because they could elongate your life like that for some reason, and you were offered something to try and entertain yourself just for a mere 6 hours that will feel like 6,000. Yeah, that's when I'd recommend a bit of Night Country, to be honest. Oh, was the chick you were talking about earlier of KD's range? Just want to get a good idea. I mean, he's been losing weight of late as well. There's no scam. I'm just seeing if Me, KD and I are British brothers, so I've got to, give him the benefit of the doubt. I would actually love to see his take on. Fucking hell, I glitched out a bit there. Is this too hot? Alright, it's a bit hot. I'm going to. Just going to increase the fan over here. Yeah, I'd love to see his thoughts on. If he's never seen True Detective season 1, then he doesn't quite. I mean, you can moan about the fact that I'm comparing it to previous seasons, but it's True Detective. Of course I'm going to fucking do that. Don't be a prick. Like, it's not its own thing. It is piggyback riding off of the success, and pretty much the very mixed success of True Detective at this point, because, yeah, it's only the first season that people remember it for. Let's face it. And the fact that this show has somehow birthed itself into existence is just emblematic of the fucking state of media nowadays. It's that bad. It's, when the critical drinker goes on about the message, it's like, it's that and beyond. Well, for one thing, I'm not Welsh. I'm partly Welsh. British is anyone from the UK. My ranting has overheated my Mac. Or maybe it looks fine for you, but to me, I'm kind of, lagging. Just let's calm this down a bit. Thing is, even if you haven't seen it, I still think with this particular series, it doesn't matter. Ish. I know there's so many references though. It does matter. I'm wrong. I know there's a lag. I'm in the middle of. I'm trying to fix it. Let me see. See what's. Yeah. I said there's a lag before you fuckers started chiming in. Alright, let me try and, because this isn't working. Alright, I'm going to have a piss. Send more money. Hello. How are we doing? It's a nice break, wasn't it? Let's have a look what's been going on. I mean, I haven't seen any donations, to be honest. Nothing's flashed up on screen, so I think you're all lying to me. And really, I need PayPal donations. Like, your YouTube ones are kind of, I mean, they're not useless to me, but I have to wait a lot longer to get them. Look, There's nothing going on there. I think I've been scammed. You're all just ganging up on me. It was all right. Yeah, I was worried about the stream, so aptly enough, that affected my own stream. What's going on here then? There's no donations. What are you talking about? I'm just seeing. You're all telling me there's been donations, and yet all I'm seeing is white text. You're trying to fucking fuck me off, aren't you? I know your game. I can't believe no one's sucking my dick over my amazing True Detective review. That was gold. So when I come along with nuggets of fucking El Dorado, and all you like, there's been a £2 super chat. Spin the wheel. That's. In fact, I would say the super chat thing has already passed, because I said 9 o'clock you could get it for half price, and no one took me up on it. Okay. Could see one. Let me just check the timing of these, if that's possible. Well, yeah. I mean that's all I'll say. Fucking this YouTube thing is so fucking rigged. It's unreal. If you don't play the game, they crush you. That's the reality. You're not allowed to fucking talk about real shit. Look, I'll put it on the stream as well. I'd probably rather you just finish the book and tell me in private. Maybe I'll bring you on the stream. I've missed that bit of humiliation. Hey, well, I'll be going to Turkey soon, mate. So send me those liras. What's that weird milk drink you've got? That yogurt shit that you drink with everything, which I didn't mind it. I can't think of the name of it now. What's it called? It's like over there, they instead of like a can of Coke with your burger or your kebab and chips, they give you this weird, like yogurty. It's not milk, but it's not yogurt. It's kind of in between, and they have it with everything. Iran, yeah, that's the shit. It's actually quite nice. Off to watch Start. Don't you want to see the wheel? Hey, as you're raking it in, I don't understand why the PayPal's fucking running dry over here. I've seen nuns wetter than this. They're drier than the women that you're currently trying to appease. Or the women of the men that you're currently placating to through all this Muslim bullshit. Oh yeah, watch me pray. This Islam stuff's really interesting. Let's ignore all the rampant misogyny. Never. And I wonder why I'm shadow banned. Yeah, it's a bit of a dodgy name. I'm probably going to get flagged just for saying it. Maybe that's why I love it so much. It's that white milk. Fucking drink of the gods, that shit. Whereabouts in Turkey are you, mate? That's what I need to know. And do you have a spare flat? Don't want to meet you, just want to use your flat. And spray it with cum. British cum. Alright, I see two super chats. Alright. I'm assuming it is in order. Yosef was first, right? The .netty. And you're the one who actually paid the real amount. Fucking Toostra over here is taking the piss with his €5.85. Which technically wouldn't even meet the criteria because I get taxed 30% of that shit, which is about what? £1.74? 72? Which would, yeah, bring you below the threshold, my friend. Buyer beware. Anyway, let's go with this. So Hawk had I can't fucking remember how to do this shit. Let me find. Here we go. So what was it? Was it video that you wanted? I think it was. Right. Pick vid. It's not even fucking working. For stream right now. Okay. Happy? Fucking little bitch. Save that. There we go. It should be in there. Is it there? Pick vid. Yeah, there it is. Right, so this is for you, Osif. Oh, you're in Istanbul. Besiktas. I was by Besiktas. In the right by the stadium, where opposite you've got a palace that you literally rip tourists off, charging like 25 quid to get in to see some fucking, I don't know, vases or whatever. Biggest con of of Istanbul that I think I came across, where you have to scan all your shit through and then they try and charge you 30 quid to get in to go and see a load of old shit, and that was it. You don't get any free booze. You don't even get a free meal. That's like, we've got the same con over here with the pavilion, which is basically just a rip-off of the Taj Mahal, but a smaller version that, you know, the royals lived in for a little while, and they charge about 20 quid to get in there, so you can see the fucking 8 mattresses some queen slept on once or whatever. Yeah, fucking ridiculous. I wanted to just go and see a game, but sadly you weren't playing. Anyway, let's spin. Alright, this is for you, Yossi. I don't want any complaints. Boom! Congratulations. You have won the 2 middle fingers. That's a £5 each. I'll hold them up a little bit longer. I'll even flip them for you again. There you go. Congrats. I hope you're satisfied. You can imagine one going and one going, and then maybe you'll be able to ejaculate this evening. Spin 2. I'm only doing this for you, Zarathustra, because you know, I know you're a good guy with terrible taste in women. Jesus Christ. I mean, I was exposed to some of the shit that she does as so-called comedy. I mean, I guess the main appeal of her, Amelia German name, whatever she is that she's so stupid that it probably would be very easy to seduce her. That's the only real justification I can see for why you're a fan of this particular chick. Plus, she looks like, yeah, she'd send nudes within about 10 minutes of DMing. So that's, you know. And remember, it only takes the small price of £10 to get another spin. So, you know, you might be luckier next time. But yeah, let's go. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Okay, you've won a pick a vid. I'm not doing this tonight because I've still got 2 vids to fucking get through. But yeah, you've won a vid. I blame this on Hawk. It has to be within 15 minutes, by the way, because I'm not sure... But yeah, you can pick a vid for the fucking stream. If you're around next week, let me know then. If not, then you can email me. Let me know what it is. And we'll take it from there. I'd prefer it to be about 8 minutes. If, you know, that matters to you at all. And well, any more takers? Let's have a look, because to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed with the amount tonight. I mean, nah, see, this is tragic. You're all earning megabucks out there with your fucking coding jobs and whatnot. And you're forcing me to beg. You know, look at my holiday fund. It's dwindling. I'm keeping myself to the bargain. It's just that I wasn't fucking aware that it was gonna come in straight away. Plus, I have got other shit to be getting on with. That was my last tenner. Bollocks. Bollocks. Any other takers? Come on, I know you want to see that wheel spin. It's not a stream without at least 5 spins. You know? This is your entertainment for the week. What have I got? 9:30. It's not looking good. The last half an hour is going to be a bitch. Gonna keep checking it, you know. Gotta say, I feel very let down this week. Conned, actually. So I'm gonna keep streaming. No, that's not. I mean, I'd happily play you at poker, but I need some stake money. How much are you thinking? What, me and you heads up? Or heads on? What's the phrase? I don't know. I haven't played it for a while. Yeah, but that was it's you're fucking with the schedule, so I can't be doing with that. Let me know what it is for the upcoming week. I mean, if it's like 5 minutes, I'll do it now. Anything longer than that, you got to wait. That's fair, I would say. But I know you lot, like, you just love to sabotage the stream. I've seen what movies you recommend. So, yeah, we'll move on. I'm not going to suck on lemons. I don't really know whether it's legal, but I don't really think it fucking matters. RJ. Now here's a man who wants to donate. RJ, how are you doing, son? He's the only man who isn't an incel in the audience. Do you want a little spin? It's only going to cost you 10 British pounds, my friend. And for you, 2 for 15, because you're a good mate. He's a travel dude. He's got a girlfriend. You know, a lot of you could look up to this guy. Talented musician as well. And I'm hoping a man with a PayPal account. I'll keep checking. I've no shame. Well, maybe he doesn't. But yeah. It's there if you want it. I suppose I'll change this to what? Roughly a 10 or more. Okay? I probably won't get that much, but there it is. I've already said to Painbow as well, you can get one for a £5 and he doesn't want it. Fucking cheap bastard. I've seen the car you drive, mate. Don't lie to me. You could get a credit card in a matter of minutes. Click of a button. And you can be subscribed to GC mckay for life. And get to gamble. I mean, I don't know what else I need to offer here. I might make pornography in the future as well. So, you know, I don't know what else I can offer at this point. Anyway, let's watch some incels. I'm going to start with a young gentleman. Oh, he knows it. He's the only man who's actually got... I'm going to wait for the actual pop-up as well. I mean, I don't know why you lot taking the piss. I told you, I get fucking docked like 30% from this. So I've earned $3.50. I mean, technically speaking, you can stick your spin up your ass with that kind of thing, you know? It's only my generosity that is feeding this beast. But as it's you, fucking turn the volume down, you autistic prick. That's all I can fucking say. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. There's a loud noise in the fucking stream. I can't believe it. You need to listen to some fucking hardcore metal. Just in general. Not to put up with volume changes, but just to get your ear used to crickling noise. Spin time. It better not fucking land on the same thing. I will be writing to the creator of this stupid fucking wheel. Boom. Pick a GIF for the super chat. There you go. Now that's a reward. That's the kind of thing I can get behind that. So you need to find a good GIF for the super chat. Oh, hello. Got another Australian dollars. I've got to look this up. I know you Aussies. Fucking biggest swindlers in the world. So I'll say it's 8 Aussie dollars. That's £4.13, my friend. £4.13. Not sure I can accept this. You're breaking my balls over here with your fucking Monopoly money donations. I need PayPal money. Like I've got no food for tomorrow. Someone wants to throw me a £5 so I can get a pizza. That would be appreciated. Steady on. So yeah, you get to pick a GIF. You need to probably email me. Yeah, this. Maybe you could drop it on the stream. I don't think you can. I'll increase this by £10 maybe. I mean, I'm being fucking generous to you lot here. And I'm giving away spins here. This is the night to donate, because you've won my respect. Congratulations. Probably the best prize. Available. You're in an exclusive club now. You and Painbow both have my undue respect. That doesn't mean you're getting another spin, by the way. That's just lateness on the stream's part. Alright, I mean GIF to you, apparently. GIF, whatever. No one actually knows what the pronunciation of that word is, so you know what I meant, you smart ass fucking. If I'm not out of line, move into a developing country, teach English and marry a middle-aged lady. Alimony plus inheritance. What? Who am I getting alimony for? What? As a child myself, I don't see why I'm getting alimony. Yeah, I'm deadly fucking serious. I never lie on these streams. What would constitute a developing country these days? I mean, everything's falling apart. Can't be the States. Can't be the UK. I mean, probably one of the only developing countries would be, what, China? Or maybe even India. At least in regards to their, space navigation aspirations. From the middle-aged lady's ex-husband. That's a point. There might be room for that. But then she probably still needs to be married, I would have thought. Maybe there's a bit of a leeway in terms of how long you get to claim. Yeah. Shit break your, oh yeah. It will when I'm dead. I'm not lying. I mean, I'll show you my bank account. Why do you think I'm always going on about PayPal? That's where I get the money. With the super chats, not only do I have to wait a month, that's if I actually make enough in that month to get it the next fucking month, you know? YouTube, like, I know you all love YouTube, but it's a cunt. It's ran by women, so what do you expect, you know? They hold that money for as long as they can. This is the shit I have to fucking tolerate, yeah. Alright, let's move on. I always leave this to the end. I probably should do this a bit earlier because I'm probably going to just rip on these dudes. But let's go.
So I basically almost got falsely accused of sexual harassment about, what, like 30 minutes ago at school at the end of the day, right before we were leaving. So people I get a lot of comments in my comment section basically telling me, "You're not ugly, you're attractive," or other incels saying, "Oh, you're such a fake cell. I bet women actually swoon over your attractive appearance behind your back. You're just gonna get laid later in life." You know, I've been getting comments basically saying I'm not actually ugly ever since I started making YouTube videos about being an incel. But every single day,
the haircut is pretty ugly. I'll say that much.
I don't know if it's like a location thing or what. I live in Michigan. I promise you, where I live, I am hideous. 1 out of 10. I mean, in class earlier today, this isn't the sexual assault, false allegation thing that I was talking about, but earlier today in class in computer programming, my teachers were giving us instructions, and I was just sitting there listening, and then I started looking around the room, and I just saw this one girl just glaring at me. I never had interacted with her before, never seen her before, well, except in the class, and I never spoke to her before, nothing. And she was just glaring at me, and I was just sitting there, and I was getting glared at by some girl I never even met. If I wasn't hideous, those types of things would not happen. And then
maybe she wanted some action. He hasn't described the girl in question, so maybe she was one of Painbow's chubbies. I'm not sure, but still, you know, getting glared at, not necessarily a bad thing.
Also, another thing that I don't think you guys take much into account, as much as you should, I wear sunglasses not just to protect my identity, but because my eyes are horrifyingly asymmetrical. Like, if I take these off, you guys are immediately going to notice that one eye is way over the other, like way above the other. Oh. It's hideous. Like, maybe if my eyes were symmetrical, I'd actually be like a good 6, 7 out of 10, but...
It worked for Tom York. Just pick up a guitar, bro.
I promise you, that's just not the case. I'm hideous, mainly because of my eyes being asymmetrical. So yeah.
The haircut doesn't help, by the way.
And another time later in the day, I was walking through the hallway, and then I just see this one girl, again, looking at me like I'm a nuisance. It's just, I'll do nothing. I'll do fucking nothing. I'll just be walking through the hallway, or sitting in class, and girls will just be glaring at me everywhere I go. Like, there's an... Women...
You sounded super gay. Everywhere I go.
Do not just do that to random guys. They do it to men that they think are ugly. Like, they do it because they want me to commit suicide. I'm just keeping it real, because what's going on in their mind is, that guy isn't 6'5" Chad. He needs to commit suicide. So they basically harass me by glaring at me everywhere I go. You guys don't know what it's... Most people watching this that aren't incels, you guys don't know what it's like to be glared at everywhere you go. You guys don't understand this shit.
Well, there's a lot of incels here. Is this true? Do you get glared at a lot for being so repulsive? I doubt it. I strongly doubt it. But I mean, maybe if you're weird looking with some... The hair, I don't want to keep going on about the haircut, but it is bothering me a bit. It's almost like he's straightened it to purposefully look this way. That takes effort. That's like og-maxing, pretty much. That's all I'll say.
Everywhere I go, there's always some girl glaring at me. It's like people tell me that, you know, I try my best to not be misogynistic and to have a to not be discriminatory, because I know that misogyny and discrimination against women is wrong, but everywhere I go, every single woman just wants me dead. Everywhere I go, every single woman that even sees me, as soon as she sees me, the first thing she wants is for me to either get killed by somebody else or to kill myself. All women hate me just because I look ugly. People don't understand this shit. And then also, what happened later is, I mean, I did kind of screw up. There was this one girl who has dyed hair. It was like the end of...
In fairness, though, I mean, he and they wouldn't be wrong, would they? Unless, we were to take it into our own hands, which has been a thing. But yeah, in general. But that's not actually referring to this normal guy, honest guy, sorry. That's our personal incel. Hawk, it's Valentine's Day on Wednesday, as I'm sure you're aware. I think you should come on the stream next Saturday. What do you think? Because remember, I have promised to find you a woman, and I've got a fucking doozy of a stream lined up. So I'm going to do this anyway. But I think you should actually come on the stream, and we can do it together. Let me know if this is of interest. You can do it from the sidelines if you want, but I'm giving you the option, basically.
And she was we had a debate, and one of my debate team members was talking with her about it, and I just noticed that her hair was growing and it was turning blonde again, and I don't know, I thought it looked cool or something, so I was like, oh hey, your hair's turning blonde again. Which is yeah, making remarks on their appearance is obviously not a totally safe option, but I feel like that's still within the realm of, if I wasn't hideous, I probably would have gotten away with it. But immediately she goes, what the hell is wrong with you?
Thing is, they had the key, I would say. They had it. But feminism has led them to believe that they should just sling it around willy-nilly, like we do, or like we would do. And yeah, that's just ruined it, basically. This is a different debate, but if you throw it around, the value of it drops, essentially. And when it comes to actually having the keys, it doesn't really matter about having keys anymore, because the door's already been fucking ran through so many times that you can just walk through it. And therefore, it's lost all of its price tag, essentially.
Don't make remarks on my appearance. I'm like, yo, chill out. I mean, other people tease you about being short, and you just think it's funny. Why can't I say things? And she's just like, because those people are my friends, you faggot. That wasn't what she actually said, but fucking hell, that's what it felt like. Getting glared at is like getting called a faggot and a retard everywhere you go. People don't get that, And then all the girls in the class were looking at me, just glaring at me, if I committed suicide, they'd all be like, yay, that faggot is dead. Just because I have autism and I'm not 6'5" Chad, I get treated this way. People always act. Something
about it rings pretty fake, I would say. Feels a bit put on.
There are the three main groups of people in society that get discriminated against are honestly ugly/short men with autism, and men that are attracted to the same gender. Because everybody's people are saying, oh, I support autistic people. No, you support autistic women. I support gay people. No, you support women that are attracted to the same gender.
Now he's thinking. I agree totally.
Bisexual men, you don't care about them at all. Oh, I won't judge somebody for the looks. Yeah, if it's like a 400-pound woman, you'll treat them with basic human kindness, which is, understandable. But as soon as a guy comes along that's, too short or has asymmetrical eyes like I do, suddenly, oh, this retard needs to commit suicide. Oh my god. He hasn't even raped anybody, but he's just a rapist by default, just because of the way he looks. We need
That's because you're white as well. Get with the program. Come on.
bully this retard into suicide. Like, that's what people are like, especially women, whenever they see somebody who's a man and who just is too short or too ugly or whatever. I could commit suicide right in front of these people, and they'd be freaking happy. They wouldn't be traumatized. They wouldn't have PTSD. They would probably fantasize about it for years afterwards. The only thing an ugly man can do to turn a woman on is to commit suicide right in front of her. Because that's the only way an ugly man can make a woman happy. Just go right in front of them with a gun, put it to your skull, blow your brains out.
Well, you're turning me on, in fairness.
As you guys can tell, I've had a pretty bad day. This video might get shadow banned, obviously, because of the stuff I say in it. I might even have to take it down, because it's like, the language is just so extreme, but when I get angry, it's like, I've just been bullied and harassed my whole life for stupid, retarded things, like, oh, you have autism, therefore you're less than other people. Oh, you're not 6'5", therefore you're less than other people.
I think I'm more sick of the fucking autism, ADHD, anxiety bullshit. Like, I get it. Yeah, it's probably genuine. But at this point, it's become such a norm that it sounds like nothing to me. It sounds like something someone told you, whether it be a doctor or teacher or even parent, at some point. They were like, oh yeah, this is because you're like this. And my own brother, like my parents were like, oh yeah, he's got Asperger's or whatever. They never got him diagnosed. They just assumed. And it was like, maybe it's because you were just shit parents. You ever think of that? Maybe it's because, yeah, you didn't give it any emotional fucking availability, and therefore their social skills were never developed, and then you just threw them in front of a screen because it was easier to do that, so you could just piddle about doing your own fucking thing. And yeah, Gen Z, I mean, and these types of dudes, like that's the only thing that's ever really happened to them. They get to the age of about 5, 6, 7. They give them an iPhone or an iPad, a laptop, whatever, and then that's their relation to the world. And then they wonder why the fuck that they're autistic. Yeah, because they're just interacting with code. That's why they can't understand the nuance of, if a girl is glaring at them. Yeah, you're right. It might be because you're a bit weird looking, but the fact that they look at you because you're weird looking doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to fucking fuck you. Like, you got no concept of the fact that maybe they're doing that because they find you interesting to look at, and even with that kind of haircut, they might still be intrigued. But because you don't have the social skills, you're just going to hide away from it, because it's easier to go on or slip inside your car, which you didn't buy, and make a video about it bitching, because it's easier, because it's still lacking social interaction. You'd be better off talking to the fat cafeteria lady about this, because it's at least face to face. You're getting some sort of interaction, and in some cases, if you were lucky enough, she might even suck your dick. But then you could claim victimhood then. But as a white guy, probably not likely. But still, it's just part of your personality, for the most part. Obviously, if you are of an extreme level of autism, you probably wouldn't ever make a video like this. I'm gonna say it, like, you wouldn't, because you've had some sort of foresight. You kind of know there's going to be an emotional reaction to it. Therefore, your autism is on a spectrum that's much closer to normidom than it is severe autism, because those guys and girls wouldn't even think of doing something like that, because they need to live in a world that is so regimented and predictable and routine, that doing something like that, where you're actually entering a car, putting something like everything about it is theatrical of a sense. So there's an element of it being spontaneous, let's say, even if that is far from the truth. It gives off that kind of vibe, and that is a premeditated type of thing that autistic people, or genuinely autistic people, aren't really capable of doing.
Oh, your face is below a 6 out of 10. We're gonna discriminate against you now, and you're a rapist. Like, it just bothers me so much. I just hate it, like, getting glared at all the fucking time. Just for not being 6'5" Chad.
Well, Salim, I think you actually have quite a good point. I watched a First Dates recently where they were pinning two autistic folk together, and one of them was a girl who was like an OnlyFans model and all this, and yeah, you could imagine that the acceptance she gets compared to the guy she was with was, yeah, ridiculous, like to the point where what does it even matter, you know?
Obviously not all women are evil, but a good somewhere between 40 to 60% of women are just fucking evil. It's weird to think that if I committed suicide tomorrow, most people in my life would just be happy. Like, they want me dead. They want me gone. They want me to be depressed and suicidal. They want me to commit suicide. Like, people always say, oh, it's not that people want you to commit suicide. They just don't understand how it affects you. I promise you they do. And they're doing this on purpose. And not just women, just like people in general, because everybody's horrible to short and ugly men. Not just, you know...
I mean, regardless of your eyes, man, you're not an ugly guy. Yeah, your eyes might be a bit weird or whatever, I can't tell. But your facial structure is fine. Your haircut's shit. Sort that out. And the stuff you're saying isn't true, because it gives a... It's like you think that other people care enough that they would wish you to commit suicide, when in some ways you could argue that it's worse than that, because they couldn't give a fuck either way, because they don't know you. You know, just because they've seen your face maybe walking around or pulling up in the car park or whatever, they don't fucking know you. And if this was their only experience of you, yeah, maybe there's some validity in it then. So it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy, where it's like, if that's the only thing they see of you, then they're going to care even less. Whereas if you had some sort of mystery about you or whatever, watch The World's Greatest Dad. That might give some perspective on what I'm saying. But in general, as a guy, you need to realize no one gives a fuck, and this is a big thing. And I don't think it matters whatever race or religious affiliation or whatever. If you're a dude, in general, you're alone, and you need to learn how to handle that, whether it's through academic prowess, creative endeavor, just whatever. In general, you're not going to get away with the shit that women currently will get away with, basically. Or at least, like, you're not going to get the sympathy, understanding, support, all of that stuff. Nah, forget about it, basically. You're on your own.
Women, you know, most people are just horrible. So yeah, peace out. If I ever stop posting videos, I either got murdered, committed suicide, or got sent to jail for a false rape accusation. One of those three things. Peace out.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. ISIS? Something. But I'm afraid that is not going to get you a spin. Well, yeah. It's a damn good point. I can't spin the wheel. That's like £2. I've given you a discount. If you'll up the ante, then you'll get a spin then. You know. Anyway, I got one more to do, so I'm going to get through that because it's fucking 15 minutes long. But yeah, on a closing note for that dude, don't take too much catharsis from any attention you might get from comments and likes and views, because it'll probably make it worse overall. Because yeah, I don't know, maybe it won't. I honestly don't know. I mean, it's really difficult to tell. I think the things social media does to you, depending on the limits of your reach and stuff like that, like who the fuck knows. Like if suddenly I had 300 people watching this, maybe it would affect how I behave. I don't know. Probably. If it was 3,300, whatever, then it's like, I don't know, it changes the dynamic. And of course the chat would be unreadable, and therefore it's entered a different realm where I can't relate to it in the same way. And I would imagine it's the same if you get a lot of followers or a lot of views on something. It's going to change your outlook on what you're doing, even if it's essentially the same thing, you know. That's all I can say. That's why I've got an older gentleman to help us close the night.
So I basically
Shut the fuck up. Not this dude.
Alright, welcome back to the Jeep. It's been a while since I did a video. The last Jeep I actually did, I think I was in my Porsche, which I ended up giving away. And in this video, I'm going to talk about life and how I think a lot of it is bullshit and how it sucks and kind of my feelings on things. I've got with me in the Jeep, I've got some coffee, which I'm probably going to drink during this video, and I have my American Spirits. Yes, I'm a smoker, and I'm a proud smoker. I don't give a shit what they say about what it can do as far as negative health effects, and I'll explain why. Because I really enjoy smoking, and I have for a long time, and I'm going to till the day I die. No matter what the reason is, I want to enjoy it, because life is bullshit. Life is bullshit.
I'm already admiring this dude, to be honest. Like, and I almost feel a certain degree of shame in the fact that I'm vaping, because I totally agree. He's making me want to smoke.
A lot of bullshit you have to get through in life, and you just have to do whatever you need to do to be able to deal with the bullshit. And the bullshit, I deal with a lot of it by smoking, and smoking quite a bit. So I'm going to smoke my American Spirit Ultralight. That's what the orange pack is. It's the Ultralight. I'm going to smoke in my Jeep.
Ultralight.
And I'm probably going to roll down the window. It's getting kind of chilly outside, but I'm going to roll it down, because otherwise we're going to be in just like a fume cloud here.
It's a bit pussy, if I'm honest. It sounds like silk cut to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Ultralight. You know, if you're going to smoke, at least smoke the real shit, you know.
But let's do this thing. Okay. So,
but I have to admit that it looks fucking good to me. 2 weeks without smoke.
Why do I smoke? Let's talk about that first. I smoke because I enjoy it. Well, probably because I'm addicted to the nicotine. But I really enjoy it. I enjoy it in the morning. I enjoy it in the early day. I enjoy it in the afternoon, in the evening. I enjoy it. Well, whether I'm driving or at home, at work, I enjoy it. I don't know if it's the sensation of the draw, if it's the nicotine itself, if it's the just me kind of getting into my own headspace, whatever the reason, I really enjoy it.
For all of the above, I would imagine it's one of the best things outside of sex. It's a beautiful thing. And the only reason I'm fucking sucking on this robo dick is because it's too expensive. It's nothing to do with my health. It's because it's fucking expensive. I can't afford to be smoking these days, so this is a good compensation for when I will choose to smoke, and I imagine it's going to be fucking fantastic. So
it feels like I'm when I smoke, it feels like I'm kind of drawing in all the frustrations I have with the world and then releasing them. Like when I take a draw in and then I release it. So like this.
it's the best cigarette advert ever.
Right? I take all the bullshit in and I release it. And there's a lot of bullshit in life. I got to tell you, like, I feel like I was born into the wrong world, or I made a mistake when I was choosing to incarnate or reincarnate. I feel like I made a mistake because I don't feel like this world is the world for me. This world is full of bullshit. Listen to, think about all the bullshit we have. We have taxes. We have disease, poverty, war. We've got dust that needs to be cleaned up. We got laundry that needs to be done. We have dishes that need to be done. We have relationships that need to be sought out and relationship issues that need to be fixed. We have marriage and divorce. We've got all these things in life. We have aging. We have disease. We have all this stuff that's going on. And it's like...
Interesting you said dust. From ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Life is made of dust. Really. Stardust. I don't know.
There's a lot of bullshit, and you gotta ask yourself, like, what the fuck is the purpose of life?
It's all bullshit.
What the fuck is the purpose of life? I don't know. Most people have this viewpoint that there's a creator out there, a God, that created the earth, created humans, and made this place for us. But I kind of look at it and I'm like, well, if he or she did that, like, why the fuck isn't he or she here to clean up the mess, to make it better? Because a lot of this world is bullshit. Paying bills, having to work for money, having to save for retirement, hoping that you have some money in retirement so that you don't become destitute. Bullshit. Having to have a passport to be able to travel across borders. Bullshit. Having to do a ton of stuff in life is bullshit. Having to renew your tabs on your license plates every fucking year. It's like, why does the state need to charge me more and more money every single year because I've already paid for a vehicle which I paid taxes on when I bought it? It's like, give me a fucking break. Don't need to charge me every fucking year.
I mean, I wouldn't know on that front, but I agree.
So anyway, there's a lot of bullshit. I'm fortunate to have a son. He is currently 6 years old, and I love him so much. But I got to tell you, like, I'm worried about him. I hope that he has a good life. And I hope that he has, a rosier picture of the world than what I do. Because I see the good in the world. Right? There's a lot of good stuff in the world, a lot of good stuff about it. But there's a lot of bullshit, too. And I hope he doesn't see the bullshit. I hope it doesn't drag him down like it drags me down, because it drags me down a lot to look at the world and to survive in it and just get by. It's like, for example, one aspect of the world that really sucks is the dating world. The dating world.
Here we go. Let's go.
Dating apps for guys are like a waste of time.
Totally
a complete
agree.
Waste of time.
Definitely.
And the people that are out there, the women that are out there on the market, a lot of them are a waste of time too. It's like everybody's been run through, everybody's bitter, everybody's overweight, or something's wrong with them. They're a basket of just hellfire that is about ready to be unleashed. If you happen to have the chance or the opportunity, if you want to call that, to date them and to be with them. But for a lot of guys are going to get rejected because, you know, women want the top, you know, 10% of men. And men aren't that picky, you know, it's like, but women are. And a lot of
Curious to know how old this guy is, I have to say. I'm guessing, what, mid-40s, roughly? So if that's the state of things for this dude, especially in the dating market, I mean, the best you can hope for after 35, if you're on dating apps, is to get a woman who's been ran through her whole fucking 20s, won't do things that you want to do because she's already done them with dudes that she thought were hotter than you, and then if you're lucky, you get the privilege of raising her fucking kids. That's your best bet if you're on fucking dating apps. It's like, it's don't bother. It's not worth it. And even if she doesn't have kids, you'd still have to just deal with all the sexual trauma she got from fucking Chad. So, yeah, good luck with that.
Relationship problems. A lot of women, I forget what the percentages are, man, of women. It's like there's a high percentage.
And a lot of these women did this with a 10% chance of actually coming. So if they got through 20 guys, 2 of them likely made her come, you know, probably in a very minuscule way. Good odds. That's some pro-feminist shit. You go, girl. Go for that shit.
Once you pass like the age of 30, as far as single women out there, they actually, most of them have kids, like, because they've been divorced, right, and they've got shared custody of their kid.
Exactly. Hawk, you what are you talking about? I've smoked fucking since 18, and whatever, man. You're talking out your ass.
So you got single mother baggage that, you know, is out there on the market if you're looking to date people 30 and over. And it's like the girls in the 20s for a lot of guys are unreachable. Like they can't get them because those girls are looking for like the top tier guys, which is ridiculous because, you know, they're not going to be able to get them, you know, and the top tier guys are going to basically just use them for sex, which is what is on guys' minds. Let's be honest. So that's kind of interesting. Like I can't date. I really can't date in my age range when I'm out. I prefer younger women, you know, like women in their 20s, because they're not run through by a bunch of guys. They are not bitter like women in their 30s and plus are. They're not overweight. You know, they're not all these negatives that
it would depend on what area of the 20s. Up until mid, and that is being generous. They've definitely been ran through. Don't worry about that. Up and above that, yeah, they might not have put on weight, but there's much more likelihood they've been ran through, for sure. Like this view, like the view of a lot of guys now would be like, oh yeah, we've always liked younger women, but I mean, it's immaterial now. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. They've still done everything, and probably way more than they're ever going to tell you. And yeah, in all likelihood, the older you get as a guy now, the more likelihood you're just going to be a therapist for their sexual trauma that they got from doing all the shit that they won't do with you, but you get to listen to. Lucky you.
Women who are 30 plus are usually fall into that category. So women in their 20s are generally better. And, you know, it's like when you're a guy, you know, in your 30s and 40s, you have the upper hand over guys who are in their 20s. So women in their 20s oftentimes have a hard time connecting with guys in their same age range. So it's like you got a better chance, better shot at things when you're in your 30s and 40s. shooting for the younger women, which is, it's a nice thing, but you gotta wait. Your 20s are kind of tough to get through because you're such a hornball as a guy, like in your 20s.
True.
But whatever. So that's one issue that sucks about the world. The relationship side of things, that can get kind of nasty, and that's not the greatest thing. But and that's a big deal. It's like everybody needs to have affection in their life, and attention, and intimacy, and sex, and just a great partner. And it's not that easy to find a great partner that is going to stick by your side and you can have a long-term relationship with.
It's a great point, actually. And yeah, I mean, oh fuck it, I'll probably get shit for this, but back in the 50s or 60s or whatever, there was the whole concept of the gentleman caller. So if a guy was interested in a girl, he would actually have to knock on her fucking door, introduce himself to the parents. There was a kind of, he had to show a genuine interest and all that kind of stuff, and that it's kind of sweet when you at least read about it in plays or whatever. I mean, yeah, you can call it patriarchal or whatever, but in some sense it was good. If a guy continued to show interest without getting any action, that showed a commitment of sorts. Admittedly, I'm sure a lot of the time he did the deed and then fucked off, and yeah, that's a shame. But I would hope that wasn't always the case, because I think a lot of guys and girls do actually want some sort of commitment, and yet feminism comes in and is like, no, you need to act as if you've got a dick yourself, just fuck everything that moves. So for a lot of guys, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, whatever, you can get with a girl and think it's all perfect and stuff, and then yeah, all of the things that you thought would be unique to you, whether it's fucking some sort of crazy kinky sex or whatever, like, she's already done it. She's already done it with all of the guys that she thought were hotter than you, and that's it. So from a hierarchical viewpoint, I would imagine a lot of guys who are on the mid tier or even mid upper tier already know that fucking the top guys have already done everything that she will probably not do with you. So it's like, it's no wonder there's no commitment. It's it's like, why would you do it? And it's only the true beta simps. And a lot of the feminist viewpoints will be like, yeah, that's what you should do. Just literally, as a doctrine, go and get fucked by all of the guys that you don't like but you fancy, and don't commit. And then when you get to a certain age, you can just go for someone who's got money, a beta bucks, who you can just basically treat like an emotional tampon and get to raise your kids, basically. It's a fucking tragic turn of events, and ironically it's still is emblematic of a very transactional kind of viewpoint or truth even of monogamous relationships, because normally a commit, like when a guy would commit say 50 years ago, it was because he'd get access to things that she wouldn't do with other guys, and yet nowadays she's already done all of that shit, and she ain't going to do it with you because she's already done it with guys that were hotter, and now she doesn't want to do it any longer because she doesn't like it, or you're not hot enough, essentially. So make sure you tuck the baby in at night and shut the fuck up,
Parents' generation,
that's the attitude.
Man, it's like I look up to them because most couples stuck together. Like, they didn't go through divorces, they stuck it out, they stuck together, and they seem to have a pretty good relationship. Versus people in my generation, Gen X, a lot of divorcees, right?
Well, I would say the truth for women as well, but they just don't know it as much, and the repercussions are never as severe. Like, you could say a woman's hit the wall or whatever, but the juggernaut effect will kick into play. Like, there'll always be a guy who would be willing. Like, look at like a lot of the porn stars you see on the internet. Fucking what's her name, Riley Reid or whatever. It's like there'll always be some sort of sucker to take her in and not be bothered by the fact that she's been plowed through by 100, 300, 1,000 guys or whatever. Like, that's the thing. There's always a get out clause. And it might not be the ideal, but it's always there. You know, it's the same thing with like any girl who will argue that a dating app is the same. It's delusional. Like, it's totally different beyond levels that most people can even comprehend. Like, it's crazy. And I'd imagine that gets worse as you get older, or at least like it comes with more baggage, because you get less of what you would have got if you met them younger, and yet you're supposed to tolerate more because you're supposedly more mature or whatever, when really it's like, what's there to commit to when everything's already been done? You know, it's tragic, really. We're in a very sorry state, and I actually partly blame the pill for this. I think the repercussions of that have been so bad, and yet it's seen as like, oh no, it's a like, because on the feminist side it's like a liberating thing, because you can do what you want, you can just fuck whatever, and if you want to do one night stands and there's no repercussions, you're essentially sterile. Alright, fine. And then on the other hand, guys will just be like, well, you should just fuck me then, because you're under a pressure to do it, because you're not going to get pregnant, you're on the pill. So it creates a dynamic, or a dichotomy, where it renders sex useless and meaningless and emotionally detrimental and damaging, and then you both have to carry that on into future life. Great, you know, all in the name of liberation. Liberation for what? The chance of a girl or young woman coming is about 10% with all hookups. In general, she has 10 of them, in one she'll come, and yet you go, girl, go for it. You know, that's what's encouraged. And then after that, you'll meet someone who's got more money, who's submissive, yet you don't fancy them, and they don't care if you've been fucked by 50 dudes, and they don't fancy you whatsoever. All in the name of autonomy.
A lot of divorces happened, and that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty big issue. So, same thing with the younger generation, the millennials. And it's going to happen to Gen Z too. It's going to happen. Same type of thing. It's getting worse. Like, social media makes it even tougher for people to stay together, because people are always seeing who's out there, and they want to see who's better and what's available. And women, you know, have an innate need for hypergamy, which is basically like finding the best man out there with the best attributes. So they're always looking for who's better, who's next. Even if they're in a solid relationship, a lot of them, they're looking like who's out there, who's a prospect for me, right? Who's a prospect? And that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And you know, relationships are a big part of life, and that's why I've talked about it here for a little bit, because if you're in a good, solid relationship, you can get through the bullshit, the rest of the bullshit that life has to offer. But if you don't have a relationship, it kind of makes it feel like, what the fuck is the point? And so for me, I'm kind of like, what the fuck is the point?
Well, I mean, you've got a kid. That would be a good point.
What is the point of life? You know, it's like, for me, it's like, I figure I'll stick around. I want to see my son grow up and past the age of 18 into his 20s. Beyond that, I don't know that I want to be here. I don't want to get dementia, Alzheimer's, some weird, whacked out shit when I'm super old. I don't want that to happen. And that could happen. It doesn't need to, I don't even need to be that old for that kind of stuff to happen. But I figure by the time I'm 70, which is like 21 years out for me right now, because I'm 49, that's probably when I'll say, hey, I had a good run at life. Time for me to exit stage left. Because I'm not gonna go through the bullshit process of going downhill and being a burden on my family. And so I'll probably, unless something big changes in my life, I'll probably exit stage left. You know, and I don't blame anybody who does that, honestly. I don't blame anybody who makes that decision, makes that choice.
Same. Can't argue with that.
I see people, like, I'm on a number of Facebook groups where people talk about suicide and depression. And the suicide rates have skyrocketed in just the past couple of years. We hit a record, I think, last year with suicide rates in the U.S.
Yeah, mostly among youngsters, I believe. Like, teenagers are killing themselves. Left, right, and centre, let's say. Oh, fuck.
At all. You know, it's like, what is the point of living in this life? It's like, I play the games. I play the games of life. Like, I'm like, you know, I want to try to make as much money as I can, do investing and all that kind of stuff, to have a nice retirement and some serious fuck you money, and to be able to check off a bucket list item or two. But at the end of the day, it's just some fucking game that I have to play and everybody has to play in order to, like, survive and thrive. And it's like, it's this ridiculous thing that you have to do to get by in life. And I don't know, like, I don't know, it sucks. I'm somebody who's like, I'm pretty introverted, pretty much of an introvert, kind of a homebody. I don't feel like I have any friends. I mean, I guess I do, kind of, you know, with some acquaintances, but not like true friends, I guess, as what I would consider friends. So I feel like I don't really have friends, which gets kind of lonely sometimes, you know, when you feel like you don't have that.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like, it's one of those relationship things. Maybe I just suck at relationships. I don't know. So yeah. So that is the scoop. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. That's a nice cigarette. Let me have some coffee. So I don't care about smoking. About the fact that these wonderful American Spirit orange pack, the ultralights, what kind of effect they would have on me. If they're going to give me lung cancer, so fucking be it. You know, if that's what destiny has in store for me, then so be it. I'll play my part so long as I can.
I mean, I have to admit, I kind of admire that way of looking at things, and I think that is a good way to go about it. In my experience, cigarettes didn't really be a detriment to me in many ways. Mainly, I've wanted to curb from it because it's too fucking expensive. It's like, it's a rich man's fucking luxury, and it's not worth it in that regard. And if I can do something that's cheaper than that and still be able to do it, fine. You know, it's not really an argument from me. Admittedly, maybe it's better to not have those types of addictions or whatever, but you're only going to have an addiction to something else. It's just the way it works, especially if you have that type of personality. So,
so I don't really care about the implications of that. I'll be okay as long as I need to be, and this actually helps me cope with this messed up world from time to time. Anyway, that is it for this video, but life is full of bullshit, and the whole thing makes me wonder what the purpose of creation was. Purpose of us is.
I mean, I would say the only thing I'm disappointed with this vid is, yeah, of course, it's all bullshit. The whole thing about, you know, smoking cigarettes, or essentially everything you believe is bullshit. And it has to be by design as being human, because there's no way to understand this stuff without creating some element of bullshit. And I think generally that's pretty fine. Doesn't really matter in the long run. And this whole thing about the meaning of life or whatever. So what does that even mean when you know it's all made up in your own mind or in the minds of others, or societally speaking, or whatever? It doesn't make a difference. It's a good thing overall, because your mind isn't capable of understanding it all. And knowing that should put you in your place a little bit more and make you accept what you are. Maybe.
I feel bad for kids because they're going to grow up in a world that in many ways is getting worse than what it is right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Post a comment. I don't even know how many people are going to see this video. Not many people are probably going to see this video. But yeah, post your thoughts. What do you think about life? I try to do the best I can. Try to keep, I try to keep in mind the good things about life, because like I said, there are good things about life, but there's a lot of bad stuff too. And for me, I often tend to think about the bad things a lot. And it's like, it makes me wonder, why the hell am I here? Why did I choose to come here? Why did God bring me here? Or why did I decide to reincarnate here? What the hell is the purpose of this life? Honestly. What
do you mean?
If you guys have the answers to that,
you
post them below.
decided to come
I'll see
here.
you guys in the next video.
As if there was some sort of a decision, like your consciousness woke up in some fashion, was like, hey dude, you want to exist? Whatever that means. You want to be in a body that's going to decay and fucking rot? Here's the offer. You can reincarnate as this or that. Like it gives a false idea of some sort of autonomy. I mean, thank fuck we die. Jesus. It's this desperation to just feel like there's some sort of meaning, I guess. What is that? Why have we fetishized meaning so much? And even if you do get the meaning, it's like at some point it ends. It's like any story, beginning, middle, end. It has a, so you can feel content or whatever, or fulfilled, and the trick is trying to prolong that, trying to protect it, trying to do something with it, that even knowing it will fucking end, you'll pursue it anyway, you know. But again, I don't know, I feel like a few of you said, like, yeah, you know, he's had a kid and he feels like this or whatever. And I don't know, maybe having kids puts you into this more infantilized kind of ideal, because you're seeing things through your children's eyes or whatever. But it's just as meaningless as when when you didn't have a kid. And this notion that there's some sort of higher whatever power. Even the word power sounds wrong to me, like, because it sounds like it's of its own volition, of its own discovery. But it's like, where does the root end? Where does it? For what purpose? You know, it all comes down to that kind of idea of like, there needs to be some sort of meaning behind it. It's like, no, it's just meaningless. That's fine. Let it go. It's all good. It's pointless. And the only meaning that actually has any relevance in your puny little existence is the one you make for yourself, whether that involves someone else, or is by yourself, or is by or with a whole bunch of people. So there are ways of potentially creating it. I'm not sure if it is actually doable, because the path that has been written for you is largely out of your control, if not totally. And maybe that's the reason a lot of people decide to just end it, because it could be just that realization that it is totally outside of your own sovereignty, or even the sovereignty itself is always an illusion. You were never in control of it, in the same way that you couldn't control that you were born. It's not like you wake up and go, oh shit, I'm in some fucking weird body that's going to die. Nah. You don't even realize you're alive until you're in your mid-20s or something. I don't know, maybe there's moments or pockets of it where you think, oh yeah, I'm a person at 13, 17, whatever age. But they're all just as ephemeral as your own existence itself. It's just, they're only little, what would you call it, moments of clarity or whatever. Clarity of fucking what, you know? Anyway, I like the guy's style. I liked his laid back approach, and his attitude towards cigarettes is perfect, you know, no complaints. And that is a good place to end. No PayPal. I'm gonna have to eat fucking potatoes and celery tomorrow, you motherfuckers. But well, there we go. It's all good. It's all good. I'll be back soon enough, I suppose. Valentine's Day next week. Hawk, if you're around, let's get you on the stream. Let's find you all. I mean, it might be a little bit difficult to get you actually on, because I don't know what the process will be. Maybe through an Instagram call that could work, maybe. But as long as you're on the stream, we can still go ahead, you know, with the whole process, and it'll be a laugh. It'll be a fairy tale come true, let's say. Just wait. You wait. And well, until then, motherfuckers, been fun. A book club. Why don't you give me $50 and I'll read what you want me to read, and we will discuss it on stream, maybe. I don't know. I don't think half of the people on Patreon can read, so I don't want to waste your money, you know. I'm betting he's going to come on with shades and a new haircut. But well, yeah, ponder that if you will, and we'll get to it during the week. You can email me if you want. The information's all fucking there. Let's just take it from that point onwards. And yeah, let's see. Let's fucking see. It's been a pleasure, as always. And yeah, I suppose Zarathustra, let me know what you want on the stream next week. It'd be nice to know so I can plan it. And just know that I'm very disappointed with a lot of you. The PayPal. I mean, don't know how you're expecting me to go on holiday at this point. It's a disgrace. Well, I'll see you soon. And yeah, take it easy, I guess.